Hello and welcome to my channel. Let's get this out the way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Support your girl. It's always appreciated. But we are here for Power Season 6, episode, I believe, 14, called Reversal of Fortune. So everybody was thinking that the next episode was going to be Tasha and what it's called, Tariq, because I was a little unsure if there was another episode following this, but I guess there is. At first I thought there wasn't, but there is, because this was just Tate's episode, which sheds some light on some stuff. So we have knocked out we trying to figure out who shot Ghost. So anyway, let's get to this. We are looking at, and this one is actually directed by Mario Van Peebles. I was looking on the credits, and actually when I was looking on Lorenz Tate's Instagram, Mario Van Peebles was like, when is our episode coming out? And then whatnot, and came out today and whatnot. So Mario Van Peebles, great director, African American director and actor. He's an actor too, but mostly director, father as well. Anyway, let's get to this episode. I just want to say that real quick. Just shouting them out. It was great to see. It was a lot of people on this episode that it was nice to see. Okay, so Tate is drunk in some. It starts out he's drunk somewhere in some little dive bar type place. And I believe this is the day when he was, he was talking all that shit about Walsh and everything, and then the whole campaign and shit ended for him. Well, not ended, but that's when it just made him look in a bad light when he was talking all that shit about the voters and talking about just horrible. This almost like he can't come back from that. How homeboy set him up, whose wife he was fucking or whatever, set him up to be mic'd up and listening. Everybody was able to hear what he was saying. So apparently this is probably that night or whatnot when he felt like his whole career was over. So he was trying to hit on the waitress, and then the waitress nah, calm down. So she goes off and she calls his brother, and even hearing on the phone, I was like, that sounds like that's his real brother. And lo and behold, it was actually his real brother, because it jumps to him being at his brother's home, and he wakes up, and I'm like, whose kid's bedroom is that? So he ends up waking up in his brother's home, it's his actual real brother, Lorenz Tate, real brother in real life. Lamar or something is his name, but his real brother, play his brother in this. I was like, all right, good looking out, Chi-Town represent. Okay, so his brother happens to be a cop, NYPD. We see that loving wife and a son and everything, has the whole little life going on or whatnot. And he tells his brother and everything, or his family, that he thinks that he's done when it comes to governor, and he don't want to hear about nothing when it comes to James St. Patrick because he ruined him and blah 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 blah. And then we see James St. Patrick in the sorry about that knocking, y'all, that's my radiator. In the background on the TV, we see the scene that everybody has seen when it's announced that Walsh is about to announce James St. Patrick as her lieutenant governor running mate on the ticket, but it's not official yet, but it was announced on the TV, on New York TV 1, and he is completely upset. Oh, I forgot. When Lorenz Tate was drunk at the bar, he calls somebody, and he tells them that he wants them to bring their ass up, their country asses up, because he got a job for him. So I'm like, who he trying to hire, a hit out or whatever? So we hear him talk to somebody. And then from there, let me see. So back at his family's house and whatnot, he was, still got a hangover and said that, fuck Jamie or whatnot. And he is just pretty much down and out. And this it's how it went with all the other storylines for these past episodes. It's the actions that people take after hearing Jamie is on the ticket to be lieutenant governor with Walsh, and like everybody life spiraled after that. So we are going to follow his actions up until through Jamie's murder, and then a little bit after. So as we follow Tate, from there we see it cuts, and it's Cedric the Entertainer. And he's in the record shop, and I'm like, what the hell he doing spinning records? What's going on? And then it cuts over, and he got some fat white man tied up, and it's another boy, younger gentleman sitting there. Well, I wouldn't say gentleman, with a knife and shit. So hey, they torturing some dude or whatnot. And then the dude talking about some, I give you your money, I give you money and all that. He was like, this ain't even about money or whatnot. And then he's the younger boy, who turns out to be his son, because he calls him son. So Cedric the Entertainer and his son are, I guess, hired or killers or whatnot in this. And the son is you can tell he's, I guess, apprenticing under his murdering ass father, because he's telling his son like, oh, don't cut by the femoral artery on the thigh, be careful when you cutting and torturing and stuff. And then he's like, Dad, we ain't got time for this anyway, we got to get to New York, because Tate had called him, so, or whatnot. So we see that, and I'm like, okay, so let's see where this little stuff takes us. So from there, we see Ced tells the white dude talking about some, you ain't gonna touch them girls or something like that no more. And he was like, no. He's like, yeah, you're not. And Cedric blows dude's brains out. So then we jump from there, like, oh, there's some killers, torturing, murdering killers, okay? A father and son duo. Cedric and son, okay, is what I'm gonna call them. So from there, we see, let me see. So we see the Tate brothers. They are going. We see Lorenz Tate at the gun range with his brother, and he's shooting, busting, and then he shot the whole chest area up, and whatnot. And then his brother tells him, like, man, if things ain't working out for you in politics or as governor or whatnot, you always, I could put in a good word with you with the chief, you can always come back to being a police officer. But for some reason, every time when Tate is reminded of his police past, he kind of, I don't know, he kind of seems like he's so much more above that now. Like, he just can't fuck with being a police officer. Like, you can just see, like, he has, like, a kind of, I don't know, resentment towards the fact that he was a cop before or something like that. Or maybe he just feels like it's beneath him at this point in his career now. And then he informs his brother, like, oh, who said that I was done in politics? This is just one setback or whatnot. But I guess he still is going to continue to march on some other type of way, So his brother was like, are you really going to continue on and try to continue on in politics and stuff for yourself, or is this motivated by you really wanting to help your community and your people, or is this just to clap back at James St. Patrick? And at this point, Tate just wants to see fucking James St. Patrick get fucked over, So his brother pretty much kind of acts as a person to kind of level him out and keep him grounded or whatnot throughout the whole fucking episode, actually. So from there, the DNC, Tate asked his brother to take him somewhere, because he's like, where you want to go home? He's like, nah, can you drop me off somewhere first? So turns out he walks up on Ramona, the DNC dude, the one who came in and was like James St. Patrick or whatever, who was talking to Warner and whatnot, talking about some James St. Patrick is untouchable and blah, blah, blah. The same DNC dude or whatever. And then Walsh and Ramona, they all having lunch or whatnot, discussing their campaign trail strategy ideas. And what they're going to do is put Walsh and or whatever, she's going to go speak in the places where her presence is weak, her or vote or whatever is the weakest, and Jamie is gonna go where his stuff is the weakest. Like they're like, why are we doing that? Like, well, we need you to build it up for where you are at the weakest, and get that vote or whatever. You got to get your face out there and get that vote. So they kind of go switch it to where they go wherever their weakest at and get that vote up. But Tate walks in and he was like, y'all making the same mistake that y'all made with Obama. Y'all told him, because he's like, can I talk to y'all? He was like, Tate, it's kind of over for you. You need to sit tight and fall back and concede and all that shit. And then when it's your time, it just happened to not be your time this time, sit back, hold tight. We'll get back with you. Pretty much is what the DNC dude told him. He's like, nah, y'all did the same thing to Obama. I was like, nigga, do not compare yourself to no Barack Obama, okay? Because he was not up in here crooked as hell, fucking people's wives and just doing all types of putting hits out on niggas. No, do not compare yourself to Obama. But he started making this whole speech about how they pushed Obama back and kept telling him to wait and say it wasn't his turn and it was too young and blah blah blase blase. And I'm like, Tay, shut the fuck up. And Wash was like, well, Ramona, she was already ready to fucking call security, but Wash was like, no, I don't need no more incidents involving me and a black man in a hoodie. I'm like, okay, Wash, everything you talking about, like, oh my God, girl, you was awful. It's from the black standpoint, like, bitch, please, whatever. So she just tells him, like, why don't you just bow out while you still have an ounce of dignity? And Tay was like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm going to be back up in this bitch. Just wait. So he just walks away. Then he goes to church, and he's sitting there at church, and the pastor or reverend or whatnot, he tells him, like, everything is lost and everything is done. He was like, well, you made a lot of promises to the community, and furthermore, you made a lot of promises to me, the pastor said. I'm like, okay, pastor, your crooked sounding ass. What kind of promises did he make you when he was gonna be governor? And he was like, yeah, so are you a man of your word? And he was like, well, it's impossible. And then he said, when he quoted a Bible verse, when man sees something as impossible, God, can make the impossible happen. Something like that shit. Sorry. But he said that to him. And then Tate was like, well, tell God to get off his ass because I'm out here drowning and losing and shit. So from there, one of Tate's only people who still even on his staff was like, hey man, can I get a letter of recommendation since everything is pretty much shot? He was like, why would you need that? And we're still on the trail and all that, and pretty much, everything's dying down. And people pretty much jumped ship from Tate's campaign, and it was very, very dry up in there. Then Detective Blanca and Sax, we see them. This is the point where, he already down on his shit. And Detective Blanca and Sax come in, and Sax ass shouldn't have been there in the first place, but we already know that because we synced that episode. Asking about James St. Patrick and whatnot, and then Tate went up in there and was talking that shit, so they have him enrolled as a witness against St. Patrick as well. Because, he had lied about the whole thing about being witnessing him being upset about Terry Silva and all that shit. So they have him on the hook for that, and he's like, oh yeah, any way he can sock it back at Jamie, he's going to. So then Tate tries to call off the hit on Jamie because he meets up with Cedric and Son and whatnot, and they like, oh hell no, you called us all the way up here or whatnot, and we drove all night for your ass, and you talking about it ain't no hit no more. Now who is this motherfucker that you want us to kill? And it was like, hell no, nigga, you gonna have to make a choice, because either we gonna kill whoever it is you wanted us to kill, or we gonna kill your ass because you had us drive all the way up here. How we know that you ain't gonna implicate us once if the person does get killed? Because did you hire somebody else, and then you gonna put throw us under the bus and blame us? So you need to make a choice. Either you die, nigga, or the nigga that you wanted us originally to kill is gonna die. So shit, Tate just had to go ahead and tell him Jamie, because shit, he couldn't do nothing. He ain't trying to die. So that was what it was. So from there, Cedric and Son is now following. This is another time where we see, remember we were seeing people following Jamie. Everybody and their mama was following Jamie. I don't know why. And while he was walking around like he was the cock of the strut, Jamie was not watching his own surroundings. Check your views, check your peripherals, all that, Jamie, because niggas was following you for a bit, trying to kill your ass, and you were none the wiser, because you was all up in them politics, and you ain't had your ghost cap on, because you was just out there being Jamie, and it wasn't. And now you dead, homie. Now you dead. But anyway, so they following him because they want to learn his schedule, instead trying to tell his son, it was just, they provided the comic relief, which, said is a comedian. So it was like this father and son killing duo, listening to country music and singing and shit. Well, Cedric was the one mostly listening to country music, where he went and reiterated how country music and all that bluegrass is black music. Because the son was like, why can't we listen to black music? That is black music. All that shit is derived from African and all that music. But we ain't gonna get into that because that's a whole nother story. But he did touch on that. So from there, we see Tate goes to warn. Then we go see that part where Tate goes to warn Jamie. He was like, look, man, remember he was saying he made a mistake. Now at this point, we didn't know really what at this point, I remember when in my old review, I said I thought it was because Rashad was saying that he told Sax and Blanca about him, some shit about him as far as the Terry Silver situation. But no, in reality, Tate was trying to warn him, I guess, that my bad, nigga, I made a mistake. I put a hit on you, so be careful. Some niggas is after you right now. That's what I think what he was really about to warn Jamie about. But Jamie, again, the cock of the strut, can't tell him nothing. He sat there and called the man tiny hands and told him he was little and he ain't gonna never be nothing and he'll lose a face and all that stuff. And then Tate was like, you know what? Fuck you, nigga. Fine, go ahead about your day. Your ass gonna get shot. And Tate left it alone because Jamie was sitting there talking his shit. And I would have let the nigga die too. Like, all right, you talking all that crazy? Okay. Tried to warn your ass. Can't tell niggas nothing. So that was exactly what that was about. When originally I thought it was about something else. So then from there, Tate goes into a diner and he orders a cup of coffee, and then the girl's like, oh my God, it's really you. Then she's like, oh, so-and-so, it's him. And I'm like, really? And then they act like Obama walked up in that bitch, honestly, because then all of a sudden all these people are like, ooh, we've gonna vote for you. We so happy. What you gonna do for the community and all this? And he used that. Then he was like, they were like, can I live stream it? It's like, can I get your autograph? We talking about you in my class. I'm like, bitch, what class you got that they talking about him right now? So I was like, it was a lot going on. So it was weird. And I think that just kind of inspired Tate, or gave him the ego boost a little bit that he needed, to feel a little bit better and to continue on, because he know that people are still out there are rooting for him. So from there we see old girl he was fucking, the married chick or whatnot, who was working on a campaign. She is up in the campaign office, and he's like, girl, what you doing up in here? And she was like, I still got the keys, and when you fire somebody, you need to take the keys back. He's like, girl, I didn't fire you, but whatever. And she was like, you just need trying to convince him to concede. And he was like, who sent you? Did the DNC send your ass? So they was like, yeah, I guess since they was fucking, I guess Ramona suggested that she go talk to Tate and ask him to go ahead and concede. And he was like, nah, I'm not giving up yet. The shit I guess it ain't over till it's over. People out there still, want to root for me. But they were like, she was like, no, the DNC doesn't see it that way. We all have to act on one accord. And if you not follow in line, that's going to look poorly on you later when you do have another opportunity. So you need to sit this out and let it go, or the DNC ain't going to be backing you the way you think they're going to back you later. So he like, well, he going to take his chances, and girl, get the fuck on up out of here and leave the keys. I don't know why, but the scene from Love Jones popped in my head, which is my favorite movie, when he told Nia Long to leave his, to lock his door or close his door when she leave or whatnot, and then she threw the keys at his face, but whatever. I don't know. I just the scene wasn't really like that, but you know, he had that same type of vibe and attitude. Hold on, y'all. So from there, we see the scene. Now we finally find out who was shooting at Tommy and Ghost. It was Cedric and Son. Y'all, I did not realize that was because we saw the dude who was laying on the floor plenty of times. It's just that angle just did not look like no Cedric the Entertainer. Maybe because his mouth was all open and it was a quick glance. I almost want to go back to the episodes that they showed his face and look at it again, because I was like, this whole time that was Cedric ass lying on the floor, bleeding and shit that they shot. But anyway, I was like, did y'all know that? Because I didn't know that, and I don't remember nobody mentioning that shit. So anyway, maybe because it was the angle. So we get to that point, we see it from their point of view, Cedric and Son. So Son walks up and they both getting their guns ready because they see Jamie go off to go meet or go off into some thing. This is when he met Tommy all up in that little I don't know, yard looking place or stockyard, whatever the fuck place that was. And they grabbing guns, and he was like, calm down, son. He was like, what, it's only just one dude. He was like, it only takes one man to make it so we don't make it home tonight or whatnot, which is true, because you don't know who the fuck you walking up on. That's Ghost. So anyway, and then they really didn't know that they was walking up on Tommy crazy ass, so that's who they really need to be worried about as well. So it shows it from their point of view, coming up and seeing Tommy and Ghost arguing. So, but the son has a gun or whatnot, and he has the shot. He looked like he had a very clear shot of Jamie, and he fucking missed. Daddy should have took that shot because son was not ready. So then that's when it gets to this whole shootout thing, and they're shooting pa pa pa, and then Tommy and Ghost are shooting back. Cedric tells his son, like, fall back, I got this, go retreat kind of type shit, go back. And then Tommy comes up and tries to come up, and he ends up shooting Cedric like, bah. And he was like, you ain't no Italian, because, at this point, Tommy thinks the Italians is after him because he done kidnapped little Lisa Marie at this point on Tommy's part and his point of view. So that's why he thinks it's an Italian son. No, it's not the Italian son. I'm like, who the fuck are these niggas? And then now we find out who them niggas is. It's some outsourced ass hired, paid for hire niggas that take hire, which I thought it was. As soon as I saw it was black, not like that, but as soon as I saw it was black, I was like, I bet you Rashad hired these niggas, and I've been said that from the way back. But anyway, so Cedric gets shot, and looks like at that point he is dead, because Tommy was just like, what the fuck? And then he goes after the son a bit, and then the son kind of just flees and runs off because he can't stop and help his father because he got to run for his life at this point. And his fucking gun jammed up while he was trying to shoot. I'm like, what kind of guns y'all get that shit jammed up and shit? That's the wrong motherfucking time, homie. But anyway, so from there, let me see. Then we see the son calls. Wait, no, not yet. And then the son, after he was all jammed up, the son is all crying and shit. I'm like, boy, you was a murderer and y'all is murderers. You can't be crying and shit. I mean, I know that's your father, but yeah, that's the type of life that y'all chose to live. He was not ready. I don't know how long he been taking his son on these jobs with him, but it don't seem like it was long enough for him to be, he not comfortable yet. And now he on his own and shit. So poor little boy, not that much. He grown and he killing people, but whatever. So from there, we see Tate back at his headquarters. And dude, who asked him for a recommendation before was up in there. It looked like he was trying to steal some shit, and dude, he was like, hey man, what you doing back here? He's like, oh, he's coming back for his contacts or some shit. And then he was like, it's because I don't think you're gonna be needing them anymore. And then Tate was like, make the fuck up out of here, and he threw like a cup at him or some shit. So, and then from there, Andre come in. So we saw this part too. And he was like, man, Andre, what you doing up in here? And he was like, I got some information on you about the St. Patrick's. And he was like, what do you know about Tariq? And at this point, this is when he tells him the shit about Tariq and the whole Raymond Jones and all that stuff, the cop that got killed and all that shit from way back and with, you know, what's the name, covered up and all that shit. He tells him that. So Tate goes to Tasha with the information, but he goes and he tells Tasha, I know about the whole Raymond Jones situation. She's like, you know, Tasha, she ain't just gonna give up. She's smart. She ain't just gonna give up the information. Like, what you talking about? And what do you mean by that? And he was like, oh, James told me, and Jamie is about to throw Tariq under the bus. And she was like, why would he just volunteer that type of information? Tasha's asking Tate. And it seems like you trying to y'all got something going on and you trying to set me up to double cross Jamie. And then he was like, Tasha, come on, you need to go and take all the information you have on James and go to the police and get that nigga, you know, for all the shit he's done. You need to blow up his whole spot. And she was like, no, Jamie is do it before he gets to Albany or some shit, or goes in the campaign when he's unstoppable. And she was like, don't you get it? He is unstoppable now. So what? I don't even know what you're trying to tell me. So Tasha have been gave up, I guess. But he was like, not even, you saying he's unstoppable, but not even when it comes to your own son. So I guess that made Tasha think or whatever. I don't know, because it cuts off. So, oh yeah, and then before that, at some point, Cedric's son calls, the one that the hitman, Cedric and son, calls Rashad and was like, what the fuck, you sent us off, the dude who was supposed to kill you, said he was gonna be alone, he wasn't alone with some white dude, and now my father's dead and I had to leave him, woo woo, and he was crying and shit or whatnot. And then first Tate was like, oh shit, damn, and then he was like, man, I'm sorry, whatnot. And then he was like, nah, fuck that, this is on you and blah blah blah. And then Tate was kind of like, wait, did he have well, he was saying some shit, and then Tate kind of tried like, oh, I'm sorry, you breaking up, man, sorry, you got the wrong number, please don't call back here. I'm like, boy, you stupid, because you think that's gonna just get rid of that boy. And it doesn't, because then we come after the Tasha scene, we see Tate is at his brother's house. I don't know if he or whatever where Tate actually lives, but he's just been staying at his brother's house these few days. He's at his brother's house throwing out the trash, and homeboy Cedric's son or whatnot, because I don't remember his name, pops up on. He's like, I knew your ass is gonna come out the house eventually, while he was throwing out the trash. And he was like, now my motherfucking father is dead because of you. We weren't prepared for your homeboy. He was like, hey man, I'm sorry about your father, but you know, I tried to tell y'all to just fucking pack up and go back home, and y'all didn't want to, and now he dead. And then he was like, oh shit, he didn't have my phone number in his phone, did he? And the son was getting extra fucking mad, like, don't fucking speak on my father. He was like, you know what, I'm about to, and then he like hit him or some shit, and he was like, I'm about to go in there and kill your brother and your whole motherfucking family. He was like, then Tate was like, oh hell no. He was like, look, you ain't about to go in there and do shit. Anything you got is between me and you. You ain't about to do shit to my family. And from that point, we hear a fucking gunshot, and boom, son from Cedric and son is dead as well, because Tate's brother had came up and shot the son. And then he was like, man, what the fuck was that about? He's like, oh, thanks, you know, you came and saved me or whatnot. He was like, I looked out the window and I saw a dude waving a gun in your face. So that's why the brother, who was a cop, came up and shot dude, because he saw him from the window. And then he was like, who was that man? And then they got back in the house and the wife is crying. And he was like, oh, he seemed like he was kind of strung out or whatnot. I'm glad it was, you know, I told he was trying to rob me. I was like, that man was not trying to rob you or whatnot. So he tried to play it off and say that homeboy was a clucker or on some type of drugs. And he was like, man, this neighborhood, I guess that the neighborhood was originally a bad or worse off neighborhood crime-wise, but even the brother was like, man, it ain't even bad like that over here, like, no more. Ain't been no crimes and shit, especially ain't nobody out here robbing people like that. So he kind of just didn't feel like the shit added up. So, yeah, so from there, he was just kind of looking at Tate a little sideways, but he was like, I'm just glad you okay at that point. So from there, we see What the DNC comes, tells, investigate. Oh yeah. So the DNC was talking a whole bunch of shit to Tate or whatnot, and Blanca comes in to talk to Tate, and this is when she tells him, and he was like, he was about to talk about some, well, I got some more information or some other shit on the St. Patrick. He was like, no, the DNC has shut, or not the DNC, the judge and everybody has shut everything down when it comes to the investigation of James St. Patrick. And then Rashad was like, oh, hell no. Nah. So he kind of pissed off, like, this nigga still winning again. So we see that. We already saw that part in the other episode. So from there, we see Simon walks in with Lorette Walsh into, because they in Tate's campaign office or what. She walks in with Simon S, and Simon, old crooked ass, is just everywhere. His snake ass is everywhere. He was all over Jamie all the time, and now he all up hanging out with the DNC people and the politics. But you know, Simon got his hand in some of everything. So they came in to talk to Tate for one more good time and ask him to go ahead and give them his blessing or backing or whatnot. So him concede and to back Walsh and St. Patrick at this point. And he was like, man, hell no, I ain't about to do that, man. Fuck y'all and all this or whatever. And he tells them to go. And it was like, look. And he's like, why do you even want me to back y'all anyway? And she's talking about it's for optics. It just looks better on, you know, voting and all that you back us. And he was like, told Walsh or whatever, you've always been just so obsessed with the black vote and everything, and you already, now you got, and then she's like, yeah, you right. He's like, you just always been pressing for it. She's like, you right. And that's what I have Jamie and stuff for or whatnot now. And it was, you know, it was just, that's what that scene was. But anyway, oh yeah, because she was like, do you want, when people remember you, if you do try to resurrect your career later, do you want people to remember you as a sore loser? And he was like, get the fuck up out of my office. So Tay grabs a gun, and he, at this point, well, after they leave, he grabs his gun or whatnot. He calls Dre, and he tells Dre that he's ready to meet up. And then this is the part where we see in Dre's episode where he gets the money from Tate and the license plate and all that shit or whatnot. And the new identity, and he tells Dre, like, kill him, and I'm the only one who knows your identity if you fuck this up, blah, 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 blah. So we saw that, but we know what outcome came for Dre and everything, and we already know that Dre's not the one that killed Ghost. So from there, his brother calls him after he gets off with Dre and has all that going on, and he was like, are you going to be at the office much longer? He was like, nah, I'll be home soon. He was like, nah, sit tight. I'm gonna come get you in a minute. So his brother comes and gets him, and they driving around. He was like, I thought you said, you know, police kill people every day. Why you need to come talk to me some more? He's like, we just need your statement or whatnot. And then he was telling him, like, man, shit ain't adding up, Rashad. I just don't believe that the dude was just out there trying to rob you. He's like, I just want to make sure that I hear the story again. And he was like, man, you've been working for the force too long. It's then he tried to pull all this other stuff and tried to even pull the black card on his brother, seeing that his brother's a police officer, saying like, you got that police mentality. Every black man is guilty and still proven innocent. I'm like, Rashad, shut the fuck up. He was like, nah, nigga, shit just ain't adding up to me, and I'm not trying to make sure I protect my family. And you telling me one story, I want to make sure that this ain't some dude that you knew or some other shit or whatnot. He was like, I'm your family. He was like, I just want to make sure that you telling the truth, and you need to go give your statement at the precinct and woo this and blah, 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 that. He's like, because if you don't tell me the shit, I can't help you if you done got into some shit or whatnot. And at that point, he is still not really telling his brother anything about what's going on about the dude. And he's sticking to his story at this point. So from there, because he was like, my neighborhood, because he was reiterating, like, my neighborhood, because Rashad was trying to say, man, that neighborhood always bad. He was like, nah, my neighborhood been good. Wasn't no bloodshed in that bitch till your ass came up around to the hood. But anyway, then after after he gives his statement, because he drives him up to the precinct, after he gives his statement or whatnot, he was like, is there anything else you want to add to it? He was like, nah, it's just a damn shame and all that. And then they started kikiing, laughing and stuff, and he was like, well, we got the dude's prince, the boy's prince or whatnot from DC. He had a lot of petty crimes. So good job saying to the older brother Tate, you might have killed somebody who was gonna be destined for a life of crime anyway. And they was laughing and chuckling. And Rashad's older brother was like, man, this ain't the time. A man lost his life. It's not a time to be laughing and kikiing and ha-ha, especially not fraternizing like this in front of a witness. That was like, nah, he ex-cop, once a cop, always a cop. Ain't that right, Rashad, or whatnot? You still one of us. And then he hold out the thing to dab the one white cop or whatnot. And you can still see, like I said, Rashad kind of still, I don't know, feels some type of way towards police, or feels like he's better or something like that now. He don't really feel like, but he kind of changed his face and was like, yeah, I'm always one of y'all, the blue bloods. Fuck police, whatever. So from there, all of a sudden somebody busts in while they was having their little moment, and it was like, it's all hands on deck. There was a shooting out at Truth. They not giving too much information, but we all gotta go. And then, because at first they were gonna tell Rashad's older brother, who's the cop, like, you gotta surrender your gun because we gotta, until the investigation is over, you on like a little pause, I guess, or whatnot, until we solve this. But then once the whole thing happened in Truth, they was like, we need everybody, so just bring your gun, come on. They even tell Rashad to come on and ride on. He was like, are you sure he's a civilian? It's like, nah, he one of us. Pretty much, he's still one of us. Let him come too. We need all hands on deck. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So again, when they're in the car, his brother is still pushing on him. He was like, why do I feel like the shooting and stuff that just happened with you has something to do with what's going on at Truth? He's like, man, I tried to tell you I ain't got nothing to do with that. How would I have something to do with a shooting over at Truth when I'm in the precinct with y'all and all that? He was like, look, man, I cannot help you unless you tell me what's going on. So then he's like, all right, so he's like, man, I knew your ass was hiding something or saying something. He was like, look, now, if it turns out that James St. Patrick is the one that is shot or whatever, because he finds out there is a fatality at Truth, but at this point he does not know who it is. But he was like, if it turns out that it's James St. Patrick, a dude named Andre Coleman or whatnot might try to implicate me as being hiring him for killing James St. Patrick. He's like, why would he do that? Did you pay him? And then he goes and he tells his brother no, lying like a motherfucker. He was like, all I know is and then he goes on to say how Tate has always been lucky and always been a winner. And then he's always been the one who had to work so hard. And then Tate was like, nah, you're the one with the family and the government job and all. So I'm like, nigga, you was a cop too, and you could have had a family, but you should look like you don't want no family the way you go and sling your thing around the people or whatnot. And then he goes and he tells him like, I hope I don't have to arrest you. He's like, you always been lucky, and shit has always ended up in your favor. He's like, haven't you been seeing what's going around? Stuff ain't ended up in my favor. He's like, nah, you always end up landing on your feet and being all right. So whatever goes on at this crime scene, let's just hope that your luck ain't ran out yet. So then they end up on the crime scene. He tries to come out the car. He was like, nah, stay your ass here. I'm going to go in and check out what's going on. So from there, we see Rashad could not stay in the car because he was so thirsty to find out what's going on. He tried to walk up real incognito, put his hood on, and try to slide onto the scene and figure out what's going on. But a newscast lady was like, Rashad, Councilman Tate, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to release a statement or whatnot? And at this point, he was like, nah, y'all can hear something from my office. We'll release a statement tomorrow, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, well, how do you think that things are going to be affected now with the murder of James St. Patrick? Man, if Rashad's face did not, you could click on like, wait, James is dead? Like he couldn't smile like the Cheshire Cat but inside he was doing breakdance and pop locking and all that. And then it just clicked. He went in and just started talking about the adversities and all this and all that, and put on his little political congressman had thinking cap on, and just said this, and just talking about all types of stuff. And he just made that whole thing work for him and got his face back out there, because he was trying to avoid her. But once he heard that and they was live, so he said, started talking about some prayer and all that. Let's take a moment of silence. And then he goes on to say that the thing that the preacher said, he was like, it's a Bible quote or something, talking about some, that when man finds impossible, but it's possible with God and all that stuff. He even used that. His brother looking at him like, nigga. And I was looking at him like, nigga. So from there, he ends up, and he's like, oh, how did, after the camera's off, he's like, how did I do? She's like, that was amazing. I'm like, just feed them what they want to eat. That's it. And the brother was like, I knew it. And he was like, well, how you come up with that bullshit so quick? He was like, you know, he a natural with that shit. I'm like, oh, Lord. So from there, the next day, we see Tate and family. They at the brother's house again, and he getting dressed up and stuff, fixing his tie. The sister-in-law fixing his tie. Then they get the door. Who's at the door? The DNC man and Lorette Walsh. And they meet the family, and then they go on to talk in private. And then he's like, I know it's unfortunate of the turn of events that have happened in the past 24 hours or whatnot, but this is politics, and pretty much the show must go on, and we got to move fast and quick. So Tate was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. She's like, so Lorette was like, okay, let's just get this over with and all that. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'd like to hear the offer again. And I was like, ooh, he just want to rub it in. He was like, it's like, back then y'all didn't want me, now my hoes all on me. That was his whole vibe, because yes, he was like, oh, I got so many offers, and I've been on the phone and people talking to me about so much. Can I hear the offer again? And she was like, come on, don't twist the knife or some shit. And he was like, I just don't remember, can you please repeat it? And then the DNC dude was like, just say it. And then she was like, I would like to ask you to be my lieutenant governor. And then he was like, yeah. And then she apologized and all that shit. And then he goes and he flips the script real quick. And he was like, oh, I accept your apology, but I will not, do not want to be your lieutenant governor. It's governor or nothing. At this point, y'all need me, because you are now attached to some drug dealing murder dude who just got murdered, and your name looking real bogus right now, Walsh. So I'm not doing that shit with you. I want the seat, the governor's seat. And then Lorette was like, you can't be serious, and blah, blah, blah. Homeboy from the DNC was like, Lorette, go wait in the car. I was like, damn, there is no fucking loyalty, no love amongst them motherfucking political people. They will throw your ass under the bus. That shit is treacherous. She was like, you can't be serious. He was like, look, girl, either you go wait in the motherfucking car, or you can call a cab, but excuse yourself. Because she was cussing, and then Tay was like, excuse me, there's a child in the house. I was like, get him. Oh my goodness, like, it was hilarious. So I'm like, okay, but don't be getting too big-headed now, Tay, because you remember how you got when you pulled your dick out in front of everybody before. Like, calm it down. But then him and the DNC dude shook on it. So now it's Tate back in for governor. So from there, we see Tate is talking to the congregation with the DNC dude sitting there, his family sitting there, and everything. And he's talking to all the people in the church and giving a whole little sermon talking about some New York leads the way. And when they pan off to Ramona's face the whole fucking time, every time they pan off while Lorenz Tate or Councilman Tate, Rashad Tate was talking, Ramona's face was sick. Like, she was disgusted. Like, she's just sitting there like, I can't believe this little nigga put this shit off. Oh my God. And James is dead and blah, blah, blah. You could just see it all over her face. Eggs. Just her face is cracked and on the motherfucking ground. And Tate was just embellishing in all of his glory, because he is so happy that he is back in the favor of the DNC and on his way to be governor. So he was giving his whole little speech and how he gonna help the community and how his, get out there and vote and blah, blah, blah. And after he done with that whole little bullshit speech, he goes off and it's cameras and all that outside, and people are talking to him. This is when he announces that he is going to, that he has the backing of the DNC. That was his official announcement of it there. And then it's cameras and crews all outside. And then they was talking about how do you think that things are gonna look after I forgot what she asked her about as far as Lorette Walsh and with her campaign and all that or something. And he was like, well, if you want to ask somebody, because Ramona was off to the side talking to another crew about, we didn't hear it, it was inaudible, it was just, we just saw her from a thing. But then Tate further on goes, he was like, if you want to know more about that, I would ask Ramona or whatnot, because she was the one that was working and all that with her and that campaign when it went bad and whatnot. And then he went on further to say it's such a shame that her and James St. Patrick were carrying on with an affair or whatnot with no regard or respect for his wife and children and all this stuff. I was like, for real, Tay, you about to just throw her ass? Because, Jamie dead, so it don't matter. His name is already whatever. But to sit there and throw, James ain't even in the ground good, but to kick him while he dead in the dirt or dead in the coroner's office and turning in the coroner's office. Oh my God. So he goes and talks about and says they have an affair. They ain't never fucked. But once it's put out there, especially once it's put out there, and we already know that Ramona is already tied to some Washington scandal with her other husband or whatnot. So saying Ramona was sitting here adultering and tied up with James St. Patrick was like career ending. So, damn. So from there, we see, before he goes and says that, Ramona sees him inside the church and she was like, oh, well done, Tate or whatnot. You pulled off you pulled off quite a reversal of fortune, which is the name of the episode, which it was all a reversal of fortune for Mr. Tate. She says that to him before he goes out to the news, and he was like, you should have stuck with me, boo, or whatnot, or whatever shit. And then he goes and throws her name under the bus, and what I just said. So from there, we're back at Tate headquarters, and it's back in full effect. Everybody is got their feet on the ground, working in all aspects back at Tate headquarters, getting shit ready for him and his and the election. Stern is there, and he gives Councilman Tate a huge check. We don't see how much check is. He said this should buy you a whole bunch to keep y'all hydrated and buy y'all a whole bunch of bottles of water. And he was like, oh, thank you. Then he's about to leave, and Tate is like, oh, don't you want to, what he say, apologize or some shit? I'm like, Tate, just let it go. Like, you want to apologize to everybody, kiss your ass like you were so innocent in this. You kind of led to your own demise to a point, and you can't be sitting here blaming everybody. But I can understand that you getting back at the motherfuckers who was against you or whatnot, and who's trying to jump back on your ship or back on your dick. But dang, calm down, because you see how that ended up for Jamie. But anyway, Stern told him, he was like, look, when a day or so ago, you didn't have a fucking leg to stand on. And he was like, because at first she was like, do you regret going with Walsh? He was like, I went with who was about to win. And now that she ain't about to win, I'm going with you because your ass about to win. It ain't got shit to do with one or the other. He go with where the winners is at. And that's why you have my backing. But he also told him that he is trying to run a scandal-free campaign and to watch his fucking back because there's more eyes on him now that he's in this than it was before. So you need to fly right, boy. And then they shook on it, saying that politicians make strange bedfellows. They certainly do. It's a whole bunch of fucking devious, devil-ass shit going on. Backstabbing, just treacherous-ass shit going on. So, from there, we see him going off again, fucking old girl who was married to that white dude that was on the campaign. So, they sitting there getting it in. And, man, she ain't got no titties. I mean, just none. I was looking like, ooh, I don't remember that from before. Maybe because he was hitting it from the back or whatnot. But that's neither here nor there. I was just observation. But yeah, they was getting it in and doing it and all that. And then she was like, ooh, you still got it. He was like, bitch, I never lost it. And then somebody is bang, bang, banging on the door. He was like, she's like, I didn't order any room service. And I'm like, room service? That's a hotel? What the fuck kind of hotel is that? It looked like somebody's house or some, a condo. It was really nice. They had an upstairs and shit. It was really pretty. But anyway, they had shit to do with it. So he goes to the door. It's Ramona. She was like, how dare you? Why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, hey, Ramona. What's up? And then he was like, yeah, from now on, your career is ended because every job you try to apply for, anything you try to do, your name is going to be tied and you're going to be questioned about whether or not she was fucking. Because he was like, weren't y'all having an affair? She was like, no. And if you had have asked me that before, I could have told, whatever. And you don't even have the facts. But he was like, it don't even matter because now that your name is out there with it, you're going to always be asked, were you fucking a fucking drug dealer, so-and-so, tied murderer, whatever, some shit he was saying. So it was like, wow. And then she was like, fuck you and all that. And then homegirl that he was fucking, she's like, oh, she come down. She's like, oh, hey, Ramona. She's like, oh, hell no. This shit's going back on again. She was like, you two deserve each other and all that. And she's like, and she just leaves out. And, well, she slapped Tate and everything, and then she left the shit. Then she was like, homegirl, she was like, haha, laughing and stuff, and talking about she could go for another round. That kind of turned her on, the way he talked shit to Ramona. He was like, girl, if you hurry up, you can catch that the same Uber that Ramona is getting right now. I was like, damn. And then he was like, she was like, are you seriously gonna end? He was like, oh, you didn't think this was a thing back again. He was like, I just need to blow off some steam before I hit this campaign trail. Had to get my mind right. I was like, nigga, you ain't shit. And then she was like, you really want to end things with us like this, or whatever? He was like, oh no, you know what? I also want to thank you for buying us this room. I'm like, how you gonna kick her out if she paid for the motherfucking room? I'd have whooped his ass. But anyway, girl, if you let a nigga treat you like that, that's on you. So then it goes and he's turned on the TV and he is watching the TV, and then it says that on the news saying a suspect has been found and captured in regards to the James St. Patrick murder. And then Tate is watching this, and all we see is Tate's face and then it's like, we're finally going to get a look at the suspect because they're taking him into custody. So from this point, we know it's not Tate who killed him. We know it's not Ramona because it was weird or whatnot. So we will find it all out in the what's the name episode? This last episode next week, because Tate was looking and he was like, oh shit, or like, what the fuck? He was very surprised at whoever the killer was. So it's down to Tariq and Tasha now. I don't know who else is fucking left, because we know who didn't do it. So, and it wasn't Ramona, because they said they was arresting somebody, or Ramona, because they said they was arresting somebody right then live, and Ramona just left out of the thing, so it wasn't her. She didn't really have a reason to kill him anyway. But what the fuck, y'all? I thought we was going to find out, because I thought I was like, turn the camera to the TV. I want to see. Let us know. I know that there has been some spoilers or some shit that's been leaked. Please, y'all, be respectful. Do not put it down in the comments for those people who did not hear or choose not to look into it, or chose not and wanted to wait until it actually got released. please be respectful of that and do not put the spoilers out there. It'd be greatly appreciated. Again, y'all, I know this is a little long. Thank y'all for rocking with me with it. Don't forget, it was the episode, it was a lot to talk about, and I hope I kept y'all entertained all the way through. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl. Support is very important, y'all, especially if you're watching this. I want to thank y'all for sticking with me. I will see y'all next week, or if you just watch my reviews, I'll see you next week. Hopefully you watch more and you stay tuned to my channel. There's a little something for everybody to watch, I feel. Anyway, this is long enough. Love you, love you, love you. Peace. Bye.